Hello, good evening. Hope everyone's alright. Just gonna wait until it actually loads on my YouTube. Here we go. Hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to my spare room. Got some new curtains so there isn't a crazy wizard on the wall today. We are going to be stretching pretty much everything today, focusing on, I think, like muscles that you use when you run, cycle or walk. So it's going to be a very normal yoga class, but we'll just focus a little bit more on hamstrings, because when you run they are constantly flexing, so been making shorter. So we'll stretch them out. We'll have a look at ankle mobility, lower back strength, so when you're cycling constantly bent over like this, so we'll look at strengthening the lower back. Also, if you work at a desk, can easily start to roll the back, arch the back a little bit, so we'll look at strengthening that. Hip flexors as well, running and cycling, both flexing and extending the hip flexors quite a lot, so we'll do some strengthening and some stretching for them as well. But generally just normal yoga class. So what you'll need, nothing. If you want to, grab yourself a pillow for your shavasana, blankets for your shavasana as well. And we're going to start sat down. So there's a couple of stretches that we're going to do before we come into our meditation bit at the beginning. So if you want to grab pillows or anything just to sit on, then you can do. I'll get started in a couple of minutes, so if you need to go and grab something, then just run and come back. And then find yourself a comfortable seated position. You can just sit cross legs for now, or sit on your knees. We are going to come into Dandasana, so it is legs out long, but we will do that together in a second. So if you just put it on, you don't need anything, just blankets and pillows for your shavasana as per normal, as per usual. And if you want to grab a pillow to sit on, then you can do. It's quite nice just to sat on a pillow because it elevates your hips a little bit. Sometimes it can be quite uncomfortable to sit cross legs or with the legs out, causes the lower back to collapse. So if you feel like your back is collapsing, then just grab something to sit on. And we will make a start. So get yourselves into Dandasana. So I'm going to spin around so you can see me from the side. I'm just going to put my pillow to the side as well. So in your Dandasana, take your legs out long and just place your hands down alongside your legs. If your lower back is arching with the legs out straight, then bend the knees. You want to be able to lift up the chest and tilt your pelvis. So you're kind of like trying to thrust your pelvis backwards and lift your chest up. That's going to really straighten the spine. Hands stay down by the side, lengthen up through the spine, and just allow your shoulders to soften down the back. So we'll take 3 shoulder rolls here. So shrug the shoulders up to the ears, and then just allow them to roll down and back. We'll do 2 more like that. So shrugging the shoulders up to the ears. Allow them to roll down and back. We'll do 1 more. Try and get the breath involved this time. So with your inhale, shrugging the shoulders up to the ears. And with your exhale, allow the shoulders to roll back down the spine. We'll take another 3 breaths in this Dandasana position. So really use your abdominal muscles to sit you up really tall here. See if you started to sink into that lower back. If you have, see if you can start to sit up out of the sit bones. Flex the toes back so you're activating those legs. It looks like an easy pose, but it's actually not. We'll stay here for another 3. A lot of engagement, squeezing the quads, squeezing the belly. 2 and 1. Draw your right knee into your chest. We're just going to take a stretch for the quads, the glutes. We're going to hook the right foot all the way over that left leg and then pull the right foot as close towards that left sit bone as you can. Use your hands to draw the right knee in towards the chest. I'll spin around so you can see me. Keeping the left hand where it is, just start to twist your right shoulder to the back of the room, placing the right fingertips just on the floor behind you. Your left foot wants to be flexed, so keep that left leg active. There is the option here to make it a little bit harder. Bend that left knee and make sure that that right sit bone meets the mat. If you can't feel anything here, then just pull that right foot a little bit closer towards your left hip and make sure that you're drawing that right knee in as well. If you want a little bit more of a twist here, then lift the left arm up, keep the legs exactly as they are, then hook the left arm over that right knee, and then use that left arm as a lever to twist your right shoulder backwards. We'll take 3 breaths in this position. So with your inhales, see if you can start to sit up a little bit taller, really lengthening up through the spine. And with your exhales, allowing the shoulders to soften, just see if you can twist a little bit further towards the right. Try not to force anything just yet. It's still warming up, so try not to tug, try not to push yourself too far around. Take another full breath here. And then release. We'll switch sides, so unhook that left leg, straighten out the right leg. Draw the left knee into the chest this time, and then hook the left knee over that right thigh. Both hands interlace around that left knee, and then pull the left knee in towards the chest. Make sure that that left foot is as close towards that right hip as you can get it. You can stay here or bend that right knee and then allow the left sit bone to meet the mat. Either placing the right hand onto that left knee and just twisting your left shoulder towards the back of the room. Left fingertips can come behind you, or reach that right hand up, bend that right elbow, hook it over the left knee, and then use that right arm as a lever just to twist your left shoulder towards the left. Finding that length in the spine. Make sure that both sit bones are pressing into the floor. So this stretch is going to stretch the glutes, and it's also going to start to twist the T-spine as well, so the very top of the spine. This can get quite tight when we run because of this motion, where you're kind of swinging from side to side. So opening up the mobility in the top of the spine is going to help with that motion. Take one more full breath here. And then release. From here, untangle your legs, take the legs out straight, and then we'll take the legs out to a straddle shape. So bring your legs out quite wide into this V position. Make sure that your legs haven't started to roll in. You want to rotate the femur, the bone at the top of the leg, backwards, so roll that leg backwards. Bend the right knee and pull that right foot towards your glute. So you're getting as close towards your sit bones as you can. We're going to place the left hand onto the inside of that left thigh and use that left hand to start to roll that left leg backwards. Pressing into that left hand, reach the right arm up. You can stay here, or use your left hand, bring it a little bit further down the mat, so maybe coming onto your forearm. If you've got quite good hamstrings, then you can place the left hand onto the foot, just grabbing hold of that foot. So from here you'll get a stretch in the left hamstring, left adductors, and you're also trying to twist your chest up towards the sky, which will bring the stretch down the right side of the body into the right lower back. Find your breath again here. With your inhales, really lengthening the spine. With your exhales, just see if you can lean back a little bit more, trying to twist that chest up towards the sky. Let your neck relax. And with your next inhale, coming all the way back up through centre. Just twist your chest to face that left leg and frame the leg with your hands, so placing both hands down onto the mat, or as close towards the mat as you can get them. Take an inhale, really lengthen up the spine, and as you exhale, keeping that right butt cheek pressed down, we're just going to start to fold forwards over that left leg. So this might mean that you're quite upright and you're holding onto that thigh. You might be able to catch hold of your shin, your calf, or you might be able to grab hold of that foot, maybe with one hand, maybe with both hands. If you've got a strap nearby, I should have said this at the beginning, but if you've got straps, you can use a strap here as well. So hooking the strap around that foot, dressing gown belts, dog leads, anything like that can help here. We'll take another 2 breaths. So full inhales in through the nose. And full exhales. See if you can deepen a little bit more into that stretch. One more full round of breath. And then start to walk your hands back up through centre. We will switch sides, so extend that right knee, right leg out to the side, and then bring that left foot in towards the sit bones. From here, right hand is going to come onto the inside of that right thigh. Make sure that that right leg is rolling backwards, and then lift the left hand up towards the sky. Option to stay here, or coming down onto the forearm. Maybe even reaching that right hand forward, catching hold of that right foot. With every inhale, lengthen in the chest, really lengthen through the spine. And with your exhales, try and lean back a little bit more. Twist that left shoulder backwards. So you should feel quite a strong stretch down the left side of the body and maybe into the right hamstrings as well. Take another 2 full breaths. And then slowly make your way back up through the centre. Keeping your sit bones down on the mat, just twist your chest to frame that right foot. We're going to bring, we're going to bring both hands down alongside the right thigh. With an inhale, really lengthen the spine. And with an exhale, start to walk the hands forwards over that right leg. Again, this might mean that you're upright, quite upright, just holding onto the thigh, or holding onto the shin, or maybe you can catch hold of that right foot. Make sure that you're actively trying to press the left sit bone down as you stretch into that right hamstring. Find your breath here. Full inhales in through the nose. Full exhales back out through the nose. Really allow yourself to soften into that stretch. And then slowly walking your hands back through to the centre. We're going to make our way onto our back, so bring the soles of the feet flat to the mat, bend the knees. Roll down using your abs to come to this laying down position, so one vertebrae at a time. The lower back meets first, and then the middle of the back, and then the chest, and then finally the head. So just find yourself a comfortable laying down position here. Either having the legs extended, you can bend the knees, have the soles of the feet flat onto the floor, let the legs collapse in towards each other. Anywhere that works for you. You can have your hands down by the side, on the belly. If you want passive stretch for the chest, then bring your hands either out to a T-shape or cactus in the hands, so bending the elbows, and just making sure that the elbows are in line with the shoulders. When you found a comfortable laying down position, take a full inhale in through the nose. Exhale, let it go, let it out the mouth, let it out the nose. One more like that, full inhale in through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth. And start to close the eyes if they weren't already. So we'll stay here for about 3 minutes, just checking in with the body, just getting used to being on the mat. So we will start by allowing the body to settle. So just start to relax the forehead. So relaxing those little muscles in between the eyebrows. Just bringing your attention to your mouth and your jaw. Noticing whether you were clenching your teeth. If you were, see if you can start to soften the mouth. Maybe the jaw falls open a tiny bit. And see if you can start to relax the tongue in the mouth as well. So the tongue just wants to rest against the very top of the mouth. Just observing your shoulders and the rib cage as you breathe. Maybe noticing whether they start to expand, whether they start to rise with the inhales. And just see if you can start to soften the shoulders with the exhales, allowing the shoulders to feel heavier on the floor, on the mat. And we'll bring our attention to the lower body, so your hips, your legs, the feet. Just notice any sensations in the legs. Have just spent a little bit of time stretching them, so they might already feel a little bit warmer. And now just see if you can start to relax them, so allow the feet to feel heavy, allow the legs to feel heavy. And then just start to observe the breath moving around the body. So just noticing where you can feel the breath, whether it's in the belly or the chest or the throat or the nose. Just observing any sensations that come with the breath as well. So whether that is the shoulders rising, the belly rising. Maybe it's the temperature of the air coming in through the nose. And when you're ready, just start to lengthen the breath. So with your next inhale, just make it a little bit longer, drawing in more air, trying to fill up the belly. And allowing all the breath to come back out on the exhales, allowing your body to feel a bit heavier on the exhales. Staying here with these long inhales. We'll take about 5 more rounds of breath here. So see if you can start to equalize the length of the inhales and the length of the exhales. So both become the same length. If you want to have a go at Ujjayi breath, or if you are familiar with Ujjayi breath, then you could start that practice now. It is the slight constriction of the back of the throat, so it kind of creates this whispering quality to the breath. It can feel a little bit weird in the throat. It feels like you're going to get a sore throat. It can also make you feel a little bit dizzy, so if you do start to feel dizzy, if it's uncomfortable, then just stop. It's also called Darth Vader breath, because it sounds like Darth Vader, so if you sound a bit odd, then you're probably doing it right. If that Ujjayi breath just does not make sense or you don't like it, then just stick with those long inhales and those long exhales. They're going to activate that parasympathetic nervous system, that sense of relaxing, that sense of settling, grounding. We'll stay here for another 2 more rounds of breath. So make these last 2 your fullest breaths, deepest breaths. So full inhales in. And even deeper exhales back out. 1 more round of breath here. And we'll just start to wake up the body, so wiggling fingers, circling wrists, circling the ankles, bringing the feet together, take the hands up overhead, take a long pencil stretch, making yourself as long as you can. Bring the knees in towards the chest, give yourself a hug, hooking the hands around the shins. Just start to rock gently from side to side, just massaging the back into the mat. It is up to you whether you keep your eyes closed or just start to blink the eyes open. We're going to start to get into the abdominal muscles. There's not much ab work tonight, only a tiny bit. Keeping the knees where they are, start to lift your head and your shoulders up off the mat. Bring the hands alongside the legs. From here, keeping that chest lifted, we're going to move into a hollow body position. So start to extend the legs out. As soon as you start to feel your lower back arching, just hold it there. So this might mean that your knees are bent. You might be able to extend one leg and keep one leg bent. Maybe switching it around a little bit, so bending one knee, straightening the other leg. If this feels quite easy, it shouldn't be easy, then you can extend both legs out. If you want more of a challenge, bring the hands up overhead. Keep breathing. We're going to hold it here for 5, 4, lift the chest, 3, press that lower back down, 2, and 1, relax. Hug the knees into the chest. Make your way from here into a tabletop position using your hands and legs, or if you want to rock and roll forwards and backwards a couple of times, then you can do. We'll all meet on all 4s, so knees are stacked underneath the hips, hands are as wide as the shoulder blades. We'll just work through some spinal extension. So cat-cows with your inhales, drop the belly down, allow the chest to move forwards and send the sit bones backwards. As you exhale, press into the hands, rounding at the spine, let the head relax, tuck the sit bones under, so start to activate that core. Keep moving through these 2 movements, inhaling to drop the belly, lift the chest, send the sit bones back. And exhaling to find that roundness. Just find your own breath here. So just work in your own time. Your inhales are there to find that arch in the spine, lifting up the chest, and your exhales are there to find that roundness. Really press into the hands. Feel that stretch between the shoulder blades. We'll take another 2 rounds here. Really try and feel into every vertebrae, so Don't just move for the sake of moving, just try and move with purpose. So feeling into this stretch, notice where you feel it. And then we will all meet in a neutral spine. So kind of somewhere in between your cat and your cow. We're just going to work on a little bit of wrist mobility. So this is quite good if you cycle, grabbing onto the handlebars, and also if you type at a desk as well, because your hands are constantly lifted like this. So what we're going to do is turn the back of the hands down onto the mat. So the fingertips are facing in towards each other. The hands want to be underneath the shoulders. Start to make your hands into a fist. So you're trying to squeeze the hands together into a fist as tight as you can. This is probably going to feel quite difficult. Keep the arms as straight as you can whilst you squeeze those fingers in. With the hands in a fist, start to bend the elbows. Bring your nose down towards the mat. Coming all the way up, straightening up the arms, and then open up the hands and then squeeze them together again. So just keep working with this movement. So you're bending the elbows, coming back up to the top, straightening the arms, opening up the hands, and then squeezing them back into a fist. Bending the elbows, straightening them back up, opening up the hands, and then squeezing them into a ball. This should really start to get into the wrists. Depending on your wrist mobility, is dependent on how easy you'll find this. If you've got quite mobile wrists, you'll probably find that you can make your hands into a fist quite easy. If not, like me, then you'll probably struggle to get them into a fist. We'll take another 3 rounds, so spread the fingers wide, make those fists as small as you can. And then we will relax. Just give the hands a little bit of a shake. Got one more for the wrists. So this time place the palms of the hands flat into the mat, but turn the hands away from each other so the wrists are coming together. If this is a bit intense, then take the hands a little bit wider. We're just going to start to rock from side to side, getting into the wrists, maybe moving in a circle, moving in one direction and then moving in the other direction. If you find a sweet spot, anywhere that feels a bit tight, then you're more than welcome to just hold it there, feeling into that stretch. Stay here for another couple of breaths. Change direction if you haven't already. And then relax again, giving the hands a little bit of a shake. Interlace the fingers and just start to make some circles with the wrists. Coming back onto all fours, finding your tabletop position. We'll tuck the toes under, send the hips up and back, finding your first downward facing dog. So just take a little bit of movement in this first downward dog. So pedaling the legs, taking it in turn to bend one knee, bending the other knee. Allowing the head to relax. Maybe circling the wrists again if you need to. Start to find some stillness in your downward facing dog. So in your downward dog, you want to work with a straight spine. If you feel like you're taking quite a lot of weight into the hands, then bend the knees and just try and send the bum up and back, like you're trying to drive your chest back towards your thighs. Try and spread the shoulders away from the ears and let the head be heavy. Walking your hands back towards the feet to keep the legs bent. We will hang out in our ragdoll position. So there's the option to take hold of opposite elbow here and just gently rock from side to side. If you want to test your balance, then you can close your eyes here and start rocking forwards and backwards, maybe side to side. If you want more of a hamstring stretch here, then just start to lengthen the legs. So you can start to straighten the legs here. Just be careful with the low back. If it starts to pull the back, then just bend the knees a little bit. Dropping your hands down towards the mat, bending the knees if you had them straight. We're going to start to roll up to the top of the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Really take your time to get here. The head and the shoulders are the last thing to come up. When you get to the top of the mat, shrug the shoulders up to the ears and send them all the way down and back. We'll do that one more time just to relax the traps. Bring the shoulders up to the ears and then relax the shoulders down. So we're going to start to get into the hips a little bit here. So taking all of your weight into the left leg, micro bend that left knee and then hook the right foot over that left leg. You can use a wall if you need to help you balance. If you want to test your balance, then don't use a wall. Oh gosh, I need one. So in this position, send your bum backwards and lift up your chest. If you've got quite good hips, or if you want to test your mobility a little bit here, start to fold forwards over that left leg. So you're aiming to bring your fingertips down towards the mat. This is going to test your balance, and it's also really going to start to get into that right hip a little bit more. You can start to straighten that left leg here too, and then walk your hands back towards your feet. Just find a stretch that works with your body, so somewhere that you can feel it. See if you can find your breath again here. Hands can either be on the hips or the heart center if your chest is lifted. Find something still to look at. We're going to be standing on this left leg for a while. If you were folding forwards, make your way back up into this figure 4 stretch. Bringing the hands down onto the hips. Lift that right foot off that left leg. Try not to put that right foot down. We're going to lift that right knee up as close towards your chest as you can without touching it. Either keeping your hands on your hips or bringing the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. So imagine you're trying to balance a glass of wine on that right leg, because my mum probably is. You're going to extend that right leg out, keeping that length, that height, that right leg, my balance is terrible. Keep the chest lifted, straighten that right leg as much as you can, and then bend that right knee. We'll do that one more time. Straighten that right leg. I don't think she does actually have a glass of wine, but it wouldn't surprise me. Really trying to lift up that right leg. And then not putting that right foot down, we're going to bend that right foot. Release the hands. Place the left hand onto the outside of that right leg. And then twist your right arm backwards. Taking the gaze towards that right hand as well, if you want to test your balance. Squeeze that left glute. Lengthen through that left leg. Holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Drop that right leg down. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. We've got the same thing on the opposite side. So micro bending into that right knee, hooking the left foot over that right knee, and then start to bend the hips backwards, lift the chest up. You can either stay here with the hands on the hips, or bringing the hands together at the heart center, or if you want a little bit of a challenge, start to fold forwards over that right leg, bringing the fingertips down towards the mat. If you want to in this position, then you can start to straighten that right leg too. This will probably take the stretch away from the hip a little bit and get more into the hamstring, so just work with one that feels best for you. So finding something still to look at here. Finding your breath. Try not to let it speed up. If you were folding forwards, make your way back up into this figure 4 stretch. Bringing your hands onto the hips. Try not to drop that left foot down. Start to straighten the right leg. Lift the left foot off the right knee. And then lift that left leg up as high as you can. So again, imagine that you're balancing gin and tonic, glass of wine, anything on that left leg. Really use the abdominal strength to try not to lean backwards here. We're going to start to either place the hands onto the hips or interlace the hands behind the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Start to send that left leg forwards. Keep that lift in the left leg. Keep that right leg active. Bend that left knee. We'll do that one more time. So trying to keep that left leg up as high as you can. Straighten that left leg out in front. Get it higher. And then bend that left leg. Last little bit. Release the hands. Right hand comes to the outside of the left leg. Twisting the left shoulder backwards. Reach the left arm out. Really lengthening up through the chest. Maybe twisting over that left shoulder, holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Release. Just give the feet a little bit of a shake. Just going to check that my YouTube's not broken. I think it's fine. We'll take an inhale. Lift the hands up. As you exhale, forward fold, bringing the hands down towards the feet. Start to walk the hands forward, coming into your plank position. Hold it here in your plank position. So pressing back through the heels, really engage the legs. Keep breathing here. Find that slow rhythm of breath. And we'll hold it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees down. Keep the elbows tucked in. Lower the hips and chest down towards the mat. Untuck the toes. Extend your hands out in front, so you're reaching the arms out in front. We're just going to start to get into that lower back a little bit here. If you've got any pain, any tension in the lower back, then you can just skip these ones out. With your forehead or your chin on the floor, start to lift the right leg up as high as you can get it. Really squeeze that right glute, keep that right leg active. Lower your right leg down, swap sides. This time lift the left leg up as high as you can, squeeze that left glute. This is going to really test that lower back. You might notice you've got one side tighter than the other. And release, bringing the hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to come into our Sphinx position, so place the forearms flat onto the mat, lift up the chest, squeeze the bum, shoulders are away from the ears. Start to pull the hands back a little bit more, and then we're going to start to hover the hands off the mat. See if you can keep that lift in the chest, really using those muscles in that lower back. Press the lower feet into the mat, keep breathing, press the lower feet, press the tops of the feet into the mat, keep breathing, squeeze the shoulder blades together, try and lift up the chest a little bit more, holding it here for another 5, 4, lift up higher, 3, shoulders are down, 2, and 1, relax. Bring the hands down towards the mat, tucking the toes under, press up through your plank position, and then send the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Is the option here to take a child's pose instead of your downward facing dog if you need. Knees out wide, feet together, and bring the chest back towards the legs. We'll take 5 breaths here before we start moving again. So make sure the head is relaxed. Shoulders are moving away from the ears. Legs are active. Really draw the quads up. Try and send your chest back towards the thighs. We are going to move from here into a lunge. So if you're in your child's pose, come back into your downward facing dog. There's a couple of ways we can transition into lunge. Option 1, drop the knees down and then just swing that right foot forwards, coming into your runner's lunge position. Option 2, if you want a little bit of a challenge, inhale to lift up the right leg, 3-legged dog. As you exhale, bend the right knee, sweep the right knee as close towards the chest as you can, and then see if in one sweep you can get that right foot down to replace the right hand. If it doesn't quite meet that spine, you can shuffle it forwards or use the hand to guide it through. Drop the left knee down if you had it lifted, really squeeze the bum. With an inhale, bring both hands up overhead. We're going to start to get into that left hip flexor here, so make sure you are really squeezing the bum and the hips are thrusting forward. So this is going to, if you're flaring your chest forward and pushing the bum backward, that's not going to stretch that hip flexor. You need to tuck the sit bones under, engage the core. From here, start to bend into that right knee a little bit more. If you need to grab anything to put underneath that left knee, then you can do. There's the option to keep the hands up overhead, or to make this a little bit more intense, the right fingertips are going to come down the right side of the body, and we're going to lift that left arm up and over, reaching it over towards the right. You can place your right hand onto your thigh, onto your hip. Maybe it meets the mat. Mine definitely doesn't, but maybe it does. If there's any tension in the lower back, keep the abs really tight, so belly button pulls back towards the spine. You should feel quite a good stretch down the left thigh, left hip, and the left side of the body. Take one more inhale here, and exhale. Relax, bringing the hands back to the hips. Sending the hips backwards, start to flex the toes up towards the sky. We're going to take a hamstring stretch here, so your options are to keep the hands on the hips, or you can bring the hands down towards the mat. Maybe your hands are flat on the mat. You want to make sure in this position that the lower back hasn't started to round, really lengthen the spine. Anterior tilt of the pelvis, so again pushing those hips up and back, driving with the chest. So try not to drive with the head, you're leading with the chest. If you've got super good hamstrings, then you might even be able to turn the hands backwards and start to walk them back towards that left leg. See if you can soften into this stretch with those exhales. Deepening the breath here. We'll stay here for another 2 more breaths. So full inhales in, full exhales out. 1 more breath. And then bringing your hands onto your hips. Bend that right knee. We're going to take a stretch for the ankle. So there's two options for this one. The first one is to bend into that right knee as much as you can. Allow the knee to track forwards past the toes. And then at the same time, you're driving that right heel down. So this is going to bring a stretch into the back of that right foot and into the ankle. If you can't feel anything here, I'll show you another option. So drop, I've just spun around so you can see me. So drop that left shin down. Keep that right foot flat on the floor. We're going to do the same thing here, so apply all of the weight into that right knee, drive the right knee forward, and at the same time try and pull that right heel down towards the mat. You might just need to have a play around with your positioning in this one, but once you've found it, it's a great stretch for the calves and the ankles, because if you think when we're running, you've constantly got this dorsiplantar flexion with the feet, so it's a good stretch to do after you've been on a run, before you go on a run. Really find your breath in this position as well. We'll stay here for another 3 breaths, so slowing it down here. If you were in this kneeling variation, just make your way back into that lunge variation, and then we will all bring our hands down onto the mat. Tuck in the left toes under, lift the left knee up. Send the right foot back to meet the left at the back of the mat in your plank position. Vinyasa from here, hips and chest lower down to the mat at the same time. Untucking the toes. Inhale, take a back bend of your choice, either your Sphinx position, or you can do an upward facing dog with the hands flat on the mat. Exhale, bring the chest back down towards the mat. Tucking the toes under, lifting the thighs, pressing up through your plank into your downward facing dog. Moving straight into the left side, so your option 1 is to drop the knees down and then sweep that left foot through to replace the left hand. Option 2, if you want a little bit more, inhale to lift that left leg up if there's room. As you exhale, bend the left knee, sweep the left knee through to the chest, replacing that left hand with the left foot. Again, you can use that hand to pull it through if you need to. Dropping the right knee down with an inhale, bring the hands up overhead. So from here, engage those glutes. Start to lean a little bit further forward so you can really get that stretch down the right hip. Your left hand is going to come down the left side of the body, reach the right hand up, and then reach that right hand over to the left. So you're intensifying that stretch down the right side. There is the option to bring that left forearm to the left thigh, or you might be able to reach the floor with that left hand. Keep that core engaged. Try not to collapse into the lower spine, so really keep that midline active. Try and relax the shoulders, relax the head, relax the neck. Take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, bringing the hands to the hips, trying to send the hips up and back, coming into that hamstring stretch. So we might just need to shuffle that left foot forwards a little bit and then draw the toes backwards so the toes are pointing up towards the sky. Hands can either be on the floor or your hands can stay on the hips. Just make sure that you're tilting from the pelvis and you're not rounding from the lower spine. So push the bum backward, lift the chest up. It's almost like you're trying to arch that lower spine. If you are feeling quite flexible, then turn the hands backwards and start to walk the hands back towards that right leg. If you did actually have a glass of wine, now is a good time to take a drink. Slowing your breath down. Full inhales in. Full exhales back out. With every exhale, just see if you can soften into that stretch a little bit more. Start to make your way back out of this stretch. So bringing the hands onto the hips. We'll move into that ankle stretch. So shuffle the left knee in. From here, option 1, really bend into that left knee so that the left knee tracks forward past the toes. And then try and drive that left heel down towards the mat. If you can't feel anything in this position, then drop the right shin down. Keep that left foot flat onto the mat. And then same thing, we lean into that left leg and then try and drive that left heel down towards the mat. If you can't feel anything in this position, if you've got any weights, like any kettlebells, dumbbells, barbell plates, then you can place a weight on the leg and it helps just apply a little bit more pressure onto that leg. So if you ever do this stretch and you're on time, then you could always try do it with that extra weight. Really slowing the breath down here. So if you need to have a play around just to see where you can find this stretch, it can take quite a while to get used to it, but once you've found the sweet spot, then you'll find it every time. Start to make your way back into that lunge if you were in this kneeling variation. So the left foot is in front, right knee is down. From here, placing both hands flat down onto the mat, tuck the right toes, lift the right knee off the mat, step the left foot back to meet the right foot. Vinyasa, hips and chest lower down to the mat at the same time. Untucking the toes, inhale for a back bend of your choice. Exhale, bringing the chest back down towards the mat without rippling the body. We're going to press into a plank position, so keep that body stacked. And then send the hips up and back, either into a downward dog or child's pose. Taking 5 breaths, wherever you are. We've got one last round of sequence. It's a little bit faster than what we've been doing, so get your heart rate up to finish off with. So slow the breath down here. Full inhales in. Full exhales out. If you were in your child's pose, make your way into a downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, bend the knees, tiptoe, step or hop the feet in between the hands at the front of the mat. We inhale, come up halfway, so hands on the shins or the thighs, or the fingertips can stay on the floor. As you exhale, forward fold, just folding a little bit deeper into the legs. Inhale, bend the knees, lift the hands up overhead, coming all the way up to standing. As you exhale, forward fold, bringing the hands down towards the toes. We inhale, halfway lift, fingertips, shins or thighs. As you exhale, place both hands onto the mat and then take a really long lunge back with the right leg. Keep that right knee lifted this time, really press into the left hand. We'll come all the way up to this high lunge position. From here, interlacing the hands behind the back. That's one option. Option 2, imagine you're holding a big ball behind your back. Squeeze the arms together. If you're going for the interlace, try and swap the hand that you usually have on top. So we're going to get into some hip flexor strengthening here. So we are going to slowly start to bend that right knee and drop that right knee down until it taps the mat, and then bring it all the way up, taking your time to bring it back up. We'll do 2 more like that. So slowly bending that right knee down just until it taps the mat, and then coming all the way up. 1 more just like that. Slowly lowering that right knee down, taking your time. You should really feel this in that right leg, and then straightening that right leg. Release the hands if you had them bind. Drop the right heel down, open up the arms into your warrior 2. So your left knee is bending forwards and out to the left. Your right foot, your right leg is straight and active. Left heels are in line with right toes. Arms come out to a T. The core is active, the glutes are engaged, and we're just looking over that left arm. From here, turn the right thumb down and then bring that right hand either into the small of the lower back or bring it a little bit further round, catching hold of your hip, left hip, t-shirt, anything you can grab onto. We inhale to reach that left hand forward, and as you exhale, place the left forearm onto the left thigh. I'll spin around so you can see me. So in this position, I want you to think about rolling that right shoulder backwards as if you're trying to get your chest to face the ceiling. Take 3 breaths here. Keep the glutes engaged, squeeze the bum, squeeze the belly, let the head relax, let the shoulders relax. Find that slow breath. Exhale, look down to the left foot. Inhale, coming up into your warrior 2. Straighten the left leg and just make your stance a little bit narrower, so shuffling that right foot in a tiny bit. The feet are still quite wide, so the feet want to be as wide as the wrists. With an inhale, reach the left hand forward, hinge from that left hip, bringing the left hand either onto the thigh, keep that left leg active, or the shin, reach the right arm up towards the sky. Coming into our triangle stretch. So if there's any tension in that left knee, just keep a micro bend in that left leg. You should feel a good stretch down the right side of the body here, into the hamstrings as well. Keep the glutes engaged, tuck the sit bones under, belly is active. With your next exhale, look down to that left foot, inhale, coming up to standing, bend the left knee, windmill the hands down into your runner's lunge, and then we'll step the left foot back to meet the right. Vinyasa, keep the elbows tucked in, lowering down like you're lowering from a press up. Untuck the toes, inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, bring the chest down towards the mat, tuck the toes, pressing up through plank into your downward facing dog. We won't be here for long. Looking in between the hands, come up onto the tiptoes. Bend the knees. Think light as you step, hop or jump the feet in between the hands at the front of the mat. Inhale, coming up halfway, fingertips, shins or thighs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bending the knees, coming all the way up to standing, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, going straight back down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips, shins, thighs. This time as you exhale, both hands come down to the mat, step back with the left leg, long lunge back. Keep that left knee lifted, really activate that left quad. Pressing into the right foot, taking inhale, coming up to an upright position. Bringing the hands behind you, either squeezing that big ball, triceps are active, the arms are really strong, or interlacing the hands the other way than you usually would, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. So getting into those hip flexors again here. Slowly lower that left knee down until it taps the mat, and then take your time to bring it all the way back up. Going down 2 more times. Using the control to lower that left knee down slowly. Tapping the mat, bringing it all the way back up. Last time, moving slowly, try not to rush. Bend that left knee. Hopefully your left hip flexors are screaming. Taps the mat, coming all the way up. Release the bind if you had it. Drop the left foot down. Bring the hands out to a T, finding your warrior 2. So we're bending into that right knee, trying to send the right knee to the right. Left leg is active and straight. Right heel is in line with the left toes. Arms are active. Shoulders are away from the ears. Breathe. Deep breaths in. Deep breaths back out. Turn the left thumb down. Then bring that left hand into the lower back. Either keeping it here or bringing it a little bit further around, catching that right thigh, right hip, right t-shirt. Right t-shirt, your t-shirt. With an inhale, we reach the right hand forward. And as you exhale, bend the right forearm. Right forearm comes to right thigh. And try and twist that left shoulder backwards as if you're trying to bring your chest to face the sky. We'll turn around. So keep breathing here. Squeeze the glutes. Try and lean back a little bit more. Let the shoulders relax. Let the head relax. Check that you're not frowning or gritting your teeth. Staying here for 1 more full breath. On your next exhale, look down to that right foot. Really press into the right foot, coming up through your warrior 2. Straightening that right leg. Make your stance a little bit narrower. So your feet still want to be underneath the wrists and your right foot is facing forward, left foot turns in slightly. With an inhale, hinge from that right hip, reach the right hand forward. As you exhale, right hand comes to the right thigh, right shin, and lift the left arm up into your triangle stretch. So just check that you're not leaning into that right leg. You want to be able to hover the fingertips off that right leg and still be able to maintain this position. So there's a big opening from the right foot through the right side body into the right hand. We're not collapsing into that side of the body. Legs are active. We are breathing, holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, look down to that right foot. Inhale, coming up to standing. Bending the right knee into your warrior 2. Windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. We've got 1 last vinyasa. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Like you're lowering down from a press up, hips and chest lower down to meet the mat at the same time. Untuck the toes, inhale to lift up the chest, keep those shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, bring the chest back down towards the mat, tucking the toes under. This time moving back into your child's position, take the knees out wide, feet come together, bring your bum back towards your feet. And just let your head relax onto the mat. Taking 5 breaths here. So really slowing it down now. And just giving yourself a quick body scan here. So start to notice whether your pulse sped up a little bit, whether you got a little bit warmer, whether your heart rate increased. And see if you can start to slow it back down, coming back to that rhythm of breath from your meditation bit where we were laying down at the beginning. From your child's position, just start to walk the hands over to the left hand side. We'll stretch down that right side of the body. So you're coming up onto the fingertips, try and walk the hands away from you. You should feel a good stretch down the right side of the body. Coming back through center. This time walking the hands all the way over to the right. Bringing the stretch into the left side of the body, maybe into the lower back, the lats, the triceps. Walking the hands back to center. We will walk the hands back towards our knees, and then from here, make your way onto your back. So bringing the soles of the feet flat onto the mat, bending the knees. Just taking your time to roll down one vertebrae at a time. So try not to sink into the lower back, try not to dump down. And then when you get onto your backs, we'll take a long pencil stretch. So extend the legs out, take the hands back overhead, point the toes, straighten the fingers. And then draw the knees into the chest, giving yourself a little hug, hooking the hands around the knees. You can just start to rock from side to side again here. So we're just massaging that back into the mat. There's the option to go straight into your Shavasana, or if you want to take a happy baby, come with me. If there's any other stretches that you want to do, then you're more than welcome to do those. If you're coming into your happy baby, then bring the knees in towards the armpits. The arms are going to come inside the thighs and then take hold of the shins or the outside of the feet or the ankles, just wherever you can reach. So in your happy baby, try and press the lower back down towards the mat. There's the option to stay still, or you can just start to rock from side to side, maybe straightening one leg, straightening the other leg. Having a play around, maybe bringing the feet together, taking the knees out wide. And then from your happy baby, make your way into your Shavasana. Legs out long, or bending the knees if there's any tension in the lower spine. We will stay here for about 3 minutes, so if you want to take a longer Shavasana, then you can just pause the video. Wherever you are, allow the eyes to close. We'll take a couple of breaths together. So full inhale in through the nose. Full exhale out through the nose or out through the mouth. One more, just like that. Full inhale in. Full exhale out. Allowing your body to be completely heavy. to stay here for any longer, then just pause the video now. If not, start to wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Waking up the body, maybe rocking the neck from side to side. Start to lengthen the spine, bring the feet together, coming into a pencil stretch, bring the hands up overhead. Bringing the knees into the chest, rocking either onto the left side or the right side, going into a fetal position. Keeping the eyes keeping the eyes soft or closed, making your way into a seated position, either sitting cross legs or sitting on the knees. Take your time to get there, there is no rush. When you've found a comfortable seated position, lengthen up through the spine, allow the shoulders to relax, bring the hands together at the heart centre, bow the chin down to the chest. Thank yourself for taking an hour out of your Wednesday evening to come and practice. Hope you have a wonderful rest of Wednesday, fabulous week ahead. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know if you've got any questions. If not, I will see you next week. Thank you for joining.